Hello everybody, it's Cara here and I am so mad. I hope you're keeping well, and this episode, if you like, I thought I would bring you along with me as I begin my journey with a brand new collection from Maison Fauve, which is just next to me here. Now, I am very honoured, as you're aware, to be an ambassador for Maison Fauve, and I was very kindly contacted by the team to see if I would be available to make up and feature some of their newest collection, which I am always incredibly honoured to be asked and very thankful. So thank you very much for that. So I received just yesterday this wonderful parcel, and I thought we'd do an unboxing together. All I've done is take it out of its plastic, as in the outer wrapping, and it already smells amazing, which is always a good sign. And this collection it's too early for me to even know what the collection is called, I think. I'm sorry if that if I had been sent some information and I've missed that in the mix of it. But when this pattern collection launches on the 11th of September, I will have had my holiday in France, ironically, but there'll be a whole host of details around the theme behind this collection, because Emily, the owner and designer of Maison Fauve, always does a beautiful background story. So I don't have the details of that yet, and therefore I don't have translations of what the patterns mean in terms of their meaning. So let's get cracking and see what's in here. So it's beautifully wrapped as always. As I say, I've only taken the outer wrapping off at the moment. Now, let me see actually if I can find, let me just move that. Sorry about the rustling, hang on a sec. It's such beautiful tissue paper. Let me see if I can find the patterns so that I can take you through the patterns and then the fabric pairing. Oh, it's so exciting. I literally have not seen these physically yet. Oh, now, so excited. Oh my goodness, these are so beautiful. The packaging. Let's just take a moment to appreciate that packaging. Now there's a thumbnail if I saw one. Look at that, look. Oh my goodness, that is stunning. Just exquisite packaging. So what we're going to do, so there's 4 patterns in this collection. We've got a beautiful coat called the Marcello coat, which is got that absolutely superb collar. Let me come in really close and show you. So there's no button fastenings on this one. It's just wrapped around you. Looks like it might have welt pockets. But I look forward to doing those, and I'm that early in the process of this that I don't have there's not a sew along at the moment for me, but for you guys there definitely will be a sew along available. I've then got the Vittoria blouse. Oh my goodness, and I happen to have seen Emily actually in this as one of the early samples. Look at the detail on the back there, this absolutely sensational detail. Actually, let's go back to the Marcello, and says it's here, the Marcello slips on like a borrowed man's coat, but once belted, it gives a silhouette of effortless femininity. It has a collarless shape, cinches in at the waist, and framed neckline that gently follows the curve of the neck. Very nice. The absence of buttons give it a relaxed yet confident feel, while carefully crafted shoulder and back details add a refined structure. Its clean lines and straight cut are inspired by 1960s Italian tailoring, balancing the strength of a structured shoulder with the softness of a drape you'll love to wrap yourself in. A must-have with the right hint of androgyny, without compromising elegance. Heavenly. It does say sewing level advanced, and you need for a width of fabric of 140, you need from 220 to 270 centimetres, and it is a lined coat, and you'll need between 160 and 220 centimetres, and also 110 centimetres of fusible interfacing. As ever, the patterns for Maison Fauve come in a European size 34 to 52, and that's a chest of 80 to 120, a waist of 60 to 102 centimetres, and hips 88 to 128. Oh, just glorious. We've got, yes, the Vittoria blouse, shirt. The Vittoria shirt draws inspiration from the classic men's tunic, reimagined for a modern and feminine wardrobe with bold design choices, a polo shirt style button placket, a delicate collar and a signature swallowtail yoke. Details Vittoria plays with the shape and volume to create a garment that's both timeless and unique, with the unmistakable Maison Fauve twist. The dropped shoulders and straight, slightly loose fit gives the effortless style, while its length is perfect for tucking casually into a skirt or trousers. Now this says sewing level intermediate, and it says light to medium weight fabrics, poplin, voile, crepe, cotton, tencel, viscose linen, very fine denim or jacquard, and you would need between 140 to 180 centimetres, 40 centimetres of interfacing, which is fusible, and then 7 buttons. So 7 buttons from 10 to 12 mil, and again the same size range. Oh, look at the details on the shoulders, just that absolutely stunning. Wow, love, love, love. Then got some trousers. It's the Pantalon Andrea, and it says here, the barrel leg, look, oh my goodness, bang on trend, absolutely lovely. And you may have seen some of the barrel leg trousers by the time this video comes out to you. I imagine I will have shared with you some of the recent barrel leg trousers I've been making, so I'm looking forward to adding these to my collection. And it says Andrea is a barrel legged trouser with gently rounded shape through the leg, tapering at the ankle. A perfect blend of modern edge and tailored elegance. Its flattering cut adopts beautifully to your fabric choice, making it as versatile as it is chic. Borrowing from a classic menswear, it features welt pockets at the front and a crisp pleat down the leg, while the back showcases 2 patch pockets adorned with signature swallow-shaped detail. The waistband sits neatly at the natural waist, structured yet comfortable, refined yet bold. Andrea is more than just a pair of trousers, it's a statement of style. Amazing. And the supplies on this, it says medium weight fabrics, gabardine, denim, dupion, soft jacquard, velvet, wool, etc. And then it's got, you need between 180 and 205 centimetres of fabric, 25 centimetres of fusible interfacing, invisible fly, and then 30 centimetres for pocket bags. And this particular pattern is actually a side zip, so very, very much looking forward to making that. And then the last in this collection is the Valletta blouse, and it says here, just so stunning, look at that neckline on both the front and the back. Oh, that is exquisite. It says, there's a touch of poetry in the air. The Valletta blouse charms with its clean, minimal lines, gently softened by the neckline, swallow wing neckline at both front and back. Its straight, fluid silhouette is comfortable as it is refined, striking in solid colour. Valletta blouse also lets bold prints shine thanks to this simple construction, making it a timeless piece that evolves with the season and your inspiration. And again, the sewing level is intermediate. Choice of fabric is soft to light fabrics, poplin, crepe, voile, lace, cotton, viscose, linen and silk. And you'll need between 130 to 150 centimetres, 2 buttons and 30 centimetres of interfacing. Can you see how excited I am? Honestly, what an opportunity. And I have been very, very kindly gifted the fabrics the new fabrics from the collection, although some of these are existing fabrics too. But let me start with the top, the fabric that's on the top here, and I'm going to be making the Marcello jacket out of this. And I should have said the choice of fabric for this is recommended as a wool or a tweed, and this is their tweed fabric. I don't, as I say, I don't have the details with me right now, although this actually has been released already as part of a previous collection. So if you head over to the website, you'll be able to see this absolutely exquisite fabric. Now I think it's actually navy. I think that's actually navy, or very, very deep navy. Almost black. I thought it was navy, black when I saw it, but actually right up close it's navy, with this beautiful red and cream background. That is a wonderful weight of fabric. Oh my goodness, that is going to be quite a statement of a jacket, but I am happy, very happy with that. That is beautiful. And I think it probably is, it is actually black, because they have kindly given me, I'm going to sit back down, they've actually given me the lining to go with it, and this is the navy or midnight, this is their satin viscose, I believe it's called, and again I'm sorry if that's not correct, but that in itself is absolutely magical and is going to make such a beautiful coat. I genuinely cannot wait to get started. And as I film this now, it's actually the bank holiday weekend, and in case you're wondering what I'm wearing today, I am in, which always happens to me, it's completely gone out of my head. I made loads of this. Oh my goodness, this is called, nope, I'm gonna have to stop the video and have a look. Hang on a sec. I'm a nightmare. It happens to me all the time. So this is a daiquiri dress, again by Maison Fauve, and it is, it's just exquisite. Let me just give you a quick reminder. You've got these sensational pleats on the shoulders there, and if I turn around you'll see that lovely detail on the back. And this dress is incredibly simple to make. I actually finished mine with bias binding instead of using the facing piece, but it does come with a facing piece for the edges here. I just love this, and again this is a Maison Fauve lace, still available on their website I believe. But, so that was I think it was last year's summer project actually. So going back to the beautiful coat, just cannot wait to make that out of that exquisite tweed and the beautiful lining. So that will be the Marcello coat. Let's pop that under there. I've been kindly provided with some lovely Maison or Femme Fauve labels, which I put into all of my makes. And when you place a delivery from Maison Fauve, you also get those as well. The trousers, this is exquisite. So the Pantalon Andrea, I'm going to be making from the Maison Fauve wool fabric. Oh my goodness, this is just exquisite. Wow, that is so soft. Goodness, that's got, I didn't know what their wool fabric was going to be like. That just feels amazing. I actually wanted to take a quick look at the composition of this. It's actually 70% wool, 20% polyamide and 10% cashmere, because it's absolutely lovely. And it's called Wool Drape on their website, and actually it's sort of ink black actually, so it's got a hue of blue which is going to match that tweed sensationally. In fact, I think you can see there it's got a very, very dark blue black colour, and I didn't expect it to have so much drape, so they are going to be sensational to wear. I'm beyond excited at working with that. Just fabulous. Oh my goodness, it's so soft, amazing. And then the Velata blouse, which is the one with this absolutely stunning neckline. I'm very, very honoured to have been allowed to choose one of the colourways from their new viscose collection. Now, I've been lucky enough to work with a number of the viscoses from Maison Fauve, and I can honestly tell you there is viscose and then there is Maison Fauve viscose. This is so soft. Now you can see here it's got a slightly white background, but look at the depth of the colour. I'm going to stand up again. I'm going to jack in the box. Look at the depth of colour in that, and that is just so lovely. What a beautiful colour scheme. And that coordinates with the packaging, doesn't it there? I cannot wait to make a blouse out of that. That is going to be wonderful. Understandably, some of my most favourite clothes are from that I've made are from the Maison Fauve collection, and some of those, if I was to rank them, come from this viscose, because it is just an absolute dream to wear and to work with. And then, so there was actually, I don't know where that went, there was actually a little packet. Hopefully I'll find that in a second. Oh yes, here. So I don't know what's in here. Let's have a look. Ooh. Now Maison Fauve have an amazing haberdashery of curated buttons and zips and so on, and the buttons in particular are curated and made specially to go with the fabric, and that is the case here. So I've got two of these, I think these buttons are called Wink, and they're just exquisite. Look how well those two pair. That's absolute sensation. So I'm going to pop them back in the little bag here so that I don't lose any of those, because they're super fragile. Yeah, I've got two of those, which is very kind. I just cannot wait to get started. And then all of Maison Fauve's deliveries, I've got to get myself on that, come with a lovely card here that says a million thanks, and just a little note from Maison Fauve there. But also you get a beautiful sample with some of the alternative fabrics on here, and they were very kind. I could have made the beautiful coat out of this wonderful wool fabric here, but I love a bit of colour, and I just was really drawn to this tweed. But this lovely polka dot here, very reminiscent of Pretty Woman, that's very much been featured on their website this summer. Just absolutely exquisite. And then the final blouse, or shirt, sorry, should I say, is this glorious blouse styled on a men's traditional shirt, and I could not resist and just thought how utterly transcends all the seasons is a white twill. Oh my goodness, actually it's more like cream, isn't it? But it is called white twill, and this fabric, oh my goodness, again, just exquisite. And I did see then in the bag there, I've got some mother of pearl buttons that'll go just beautifully with that. You can see those there, which I look forward to showing you in more detail. So I'm going to pop the fabrics that can be washed into the wash, so that I can get that preparation done. I'm going to overlock the edges of the tweed so that I can handle that and cut that out and so on. And they do actually have recommendations on the website for each of these types of fabric. The wool is actually dry clean only, so no pre-preparation on that. But yeah, just exquisite. So how this video is going to go is every time I'm working on a project for this collection, I'm going to do some snippets of sewing, snippets of videoing. I'm definitely going to be doing some sewing, and I just intend to sort of dip in with you when I'm creating things, and then you may see some reveals as we go, but you may not. So hold the line caller, and I look forward to sharing this experience with you over whatever timescale it takes. So every good project obviously starts with being in pyjamas, and here I am in my pyjamas on the bank holiday weekend, I believe, and I'm taking measurements, which I do for every project, and I'm taking some time here to look at the finished garment measurements. So yeah, here we go. Let's get started. I'm just approaching the end of cutting out the vallata blouse here, and you'll see a very quick clip there of just how little fabric I had left over. It is one of my favourite elements of Maison Fauve fabric requirements, is that you are not left over with lots of fabric, which is just amazing. I move now on to the Vittoria blouse. Gosh, I wish things were this fast in real life. And I'm taking some time there to redo my measurements, because the Vittoria blouse is actually designed to be an oversized blouse, and I actually make a different size in the blouse, both of the blouses, and so I just take some time just to see, and actually end up making the size of the blouse 2 sizes down from my measurements, which, as you'll see in the end, I'm really pleased with. But here I am zooming. I know I'm quite a confident cutting out person, which I know is not very good English, but yeah, I really enjoy the process, and I find it very relaxing. It is a bank holiday weekend after all, and at this point we still had a beautiful summer. So I've taken some time out here to sit and read the instructions I think I've got a doggo here with me somewhere. Yeah, there she is. Just sort of, what we up to, Mum? What we doing? What we making? Love it. And it is important to take some time out, not to rush these things, and to just sit and read and enjoy the moment and enjoy the process. Oh, honestly, I was just, literally heading into going to France. I think Chris has just come home there. I'm just taking some time out to read through the patterns and see what glorious experience I have ahead of me of making these wonderful blouses. The instructions are really clear. You've actually got French on one side of the page and then English on the other. And there's a whole series of wonderful pictures. And as I've said before, all of the videos actually come with sew-alongs as well. Hi everybody, so it's a number of days later. In fact, it's nearly a week later. But such is the world of a full-time working person. So I haven't got as much sewing done as I would like to this week, but you will have seen me in fast time cutting out, and I have decided to prioritise these two lovely blouses. So I'm making the velata out of this gorgeous fabric and the Vittoria out of this beautiful cream viscose. And I'm going to start with the cream one, mostly because I've got white thread in my sewing machine. Just as simple as that, really. I have got my window open, so I hope it's not too noisy. But I wanted to show you actually, and I think I never really know on these time lapse, did it really speed it up sort of thing, because nobody wants to see me cutting out real time. But I hope you do see some tips of how I do fold my fabric and things. So I only ever fold enough fabric to meet the width of the pattern piece that I'm using. I just find that is more user friendly in terms of how much fabric you use. But I will say that Maison Fauve are amazing at estimating how much fabric you need, because out of exactly how much fabric that I needed, I have only got that much left. And on this blouse, I'd say it's probably even slightly less. So it does frustrate me, and I'm sure it frustrates you sometimes, that you seem to end up with lots of fabric left. That isn't the case with Maison Fauve. I rarely end up with anything other than genuine scraps left, not even really remnants. And but I don't throw those away until I'm completely done. But I've cut out all my interfacing. I am ready to sew. The other reason I've chosen, and I'm going to be honest with you, the other reason I've chosen these two patterns over the trousers and the jacket is, as I'm doing this now, the sew-alongs aren't completed for those patterns. And welt pockets, I've done a number of welt pockets, but I'm not sure that I would want to do one without seeing it being done on a sew-along. So that's just me being honest with you. The other lovely thing is that I go on holiday tomorrow, and I have no pressure on my shoulders at all to finish these. These lovely patterns get launched on the 11th of September, but I'm not under any pressure to have all of them made. I just need to be able to, I would want to, actually, is the honest truth, I would want to be able to feature them in a timely manner near around the release date, so that you lovely viewers hopefully will be inspired by what I create, because they are just exquisite. So less talking, more sewing, Cara. Let's crack on. And I'm just going to touch base with you every now and again. Okay, I start by interfacing everything and just get all the markings done. And I was going to try and show you one-handed how I, for example, would mark this on. So pop a pin into where you need to feature, and obviously I'm on my ironing board here, so that helps. And then you put a pin each side of your features. I can get it to stay in there. Just doing that roughly. I have already done it accurately. And then you basically pick up your pattern piece, and then you can draw your markings on to both sides, obviously, because I've got a right and a wrong side there. So I just thought that might help you to see how I would do that. And then obviously on this one, the pattern piece is the other way around, and because you've got the holes in the pattern, you can then see without needing to have the pattern up the right way. I hope that makes sense. Nice, I thought a little tip I'd share with you. Okay, another glamorous ironing board shot, but this is the placket for the shirt. And I just wanted to show you how I transfer the markings. So I'm putting the markings onto the wrong side of the pattern placket. Can you see here I've just put a dot, that it's just moved away slightly whilst I'm videoing, but you can see I've put a dot, hopefully, yeah, that represents each of the starts of those lines. And then at the bottom here, I pierce through the paper. Hope you can see that. Come on, camera. I pierce through the paper and place a dot in each of those holes, and then that's what that looks like. So you can see that represents those dots there, and then I'm just going to join them up like that. So that's the dot there, and then you draw the lines in. I hope that helps. There we go, and that's transferred then onto the paper. You can see there just little tips that help you along the way, hopefully. And I'm transferring the markings of the placket to the right side of the blouse, and you can see there I've done the same thing, so just makes it nice and simple to do, and then you know you've got accurate, and I've just pinned it on there for stability whilst I'm transferring. There we go, that's done. Doesn't need to be completely solid lines, it's just for guidance as you put one placket over the other, but it's good to have it there as a reference point. That's one pinned over the other. And now we're going to sew down, as obviously per the instructions. We're going to create a stitching line around the cutting, I think. It says align the placement, stitch along the outline of the placket as marked. So yeah, so that's this bit here. Yeah, oops, going off track there, but exciting. Let's get sewing. Okay, so I've stitched around the outline of the placket here. Decided that filming and sewing is not my forte, as in start filming at the same time as sewing. So I did went off pieced a little bit here if you saw that in the footage. But anyway, so that's sewn, and then it's always a bit daunting because you now cut down through the placket, but obviously this is attached now, and then I'm assuming we're going to flip that to the other side. Okay, so we ironed the seam allowance into the placket, and then we're going to fold over 1 centimetre here, and I always use a pressing hammer thing like this, because accuracy on these patterns is quite important. Okay, this look at what it's looking like so far, which is just lovely, and I have just taken quite a few minutes just making sure these are exactly the same size, which is 2.5 mil, and that's what's on the original pattern piece. Just want to make sure the accuracy is bob on here, and obviously just got to finish the bottom of this packet here. And I keep reading the instructions, but I'm loving the construction process so far. I'm going to keep things real with you here. This is, so I've top stitched this down. This is 2 millimetres from the edge, and the idea is that it catches the placket on the other side. So I've done exactly the same with the other side, trying to show you this one-handed, it's always tricky, but it hasn't caught the placket, which is fine. So what I need to do now, because I know that this seam is correct, this ironed seam here is fine, so I'm going to take out some of the seam allowance here in order to make this less to make it thinner, and therefore when I fold it across, next time I top stitch down, I know I'll catch it in the top stitching. That's fine, it's just one of those things that happen, but I thought I'd just share that with you in case that happens to you too. Now there are loads of ways of marking out buttonholes, but this is how my preferred method. I use pins so that I can literally line up the buttonhole foot across the top of the pin, getting the placement absolutely accurate, and then I pull the pins away so that I can sew, and as you can see then, that is where my button is going to sit, and therefore you start sewing there and it'll finish above there. But I just thought I'd show you that as another Cara way of doing things. I think that's focusing on that. I apologise if it's not. You can see there, right in there is the pin. Obviously I take the pins out now, and I'll know that that is exactly in the right place to sew my buttonhole foot. Okay, that's buttonholes done. 4 out of 5 went really well. The last one here, don't know what got caught on, but luckily for me, This last one will be buttoned up most of the time, so you won't see that, but these are all absolutely fine, so really pleased with that. I'm going to pop some fray check on these and then leave them before I open it and sew the buttons on, etc. Okay, so that is the button placket done. Yeah, very happy with how that's gone in actually. Even this bottom part, sometimes you get little puckers here, or sometimes you can see this exposed area. But yeah, no, it looks really smart. So that is, I imagine, the hardest part of this blouse completed. I apologise, you're getting lots of glamorous ironing board footage here, but this is my world. I wanted to show you just how beautiful that line is. Isn't that just stunning? Obviously all done by the drafting of the pattern, but just beautiful. That's the front piece. Guess I've got to do the same thing on the back. And that is the back complete. So it was obviously in 2 halves, and then you had the 2 yokes, and then you sew them together. And I love this beautiful swallow detail is what they call it. So yeah, really, really beautiful. All nice and done. So just sleeves, cuffs and collar to go. Okay, the collar is on. Wow, I'm not going to lie, that was actually, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the collar construction whatsoever. It's lovely, but I think somehow or other I'd stretch this viscose out a little bit, which is, you know, inevitable, I think, or common, more likely. And I had some puckers here where you sort of end up with a little bit of surplus. Nothing I couldn't resolve, and actually ended up unpicking it and do it again. And always on collars you end up with this very fine detail here, and I can't say that I'm an expert in that, but I'm here, I'm giving it my best shot, and I'm loving it. I've just tried it on actually, and it's really lovely neckline. You've got this lovely placket. It's slightly damp because I've been spraying it whilst I've been ironing it and things, but no, I'm looking pretty good actually. Yeah, it's hard to show you just how lovely it is. This detail is amazing. Let me just turn around and show you the back. And this beautiful, I call this a swallow detail here. Just really, really pretty. Yeah, really nice. Very, very happy with that indeed. So yeah, all good. Yeah, it's coming together. Okay, so on to sewing the sleeves next, and you've got a beautiful slit in here, and basically what you do is you sew around the split and then you cut into it, and then you've got a little bias bound edge, which is pretty simple to do. So that's the next job. Teely, join me in the sewing room. This rarely happens. This must mean it's tea time or something. But here we go. What am I showing you? I am showing you the bound cuff. Lovely, lovely to do. Nice finish there. So just got cuffs to do. Maybe we put the arm on first and then do the cuffs. Who knows? Yep, there's the other side. Nice and neat. Sort of sit one on top of the other. Yeah, really pleased with that. Okay, so portrait for this bit because it's the easiest, quickest way to show you the whole body. So here we are. Oh, here comes Teely. The first fit of the blouse. I have to say, I love this. I really love how this has come together. Let me show you. I think you can see. Yeah. Yeah, and I haven't worn a long shirt for a really long time, but I'm loving it. The only thing I think I'm going to do is shorten the cuffs here, so shorten the sleeves, because I've got the cuffs to go, so obviously the cuff is going to increase that. Now I don't know what the style, hello darling, I don't know what the style of the blouse is, but I don't want there to be much more than there is there now. So if I took that up by the amount of the cuff, if that makes sense, then for me I think that's going to be about right. So, and I don't want there to be excess. I'm glad I made a size 40, so that's 2 sizes down from what I would normally make, but I am super pleased with the fit on this. That is just lovely. So yeah, on the home straight really. Cuffs are fairly straightforward to do, and then I'm going to use a band roll hem to do the bottom, because you've got this lovely curve all the way around, and I think if I try and turn that over it's going to pucker. So that's my theory anyway. I'm on the final stretch here, and I just still need to share with you the absolute joy of working with band roll. It's just genius. I can't show you here one-handed how this goes, but you basically just get the pleasure of pulling this out, having created your hem. I can't do it one-handed, but it's just genius and enables me to create a really nice, obviously I've got to iron that, a really nice even, fairly small hem. That's not a baby roll hem exactly, but it's nice and narrow. Just genius. Today I wanted to highlight the Victoria shirt by Maison Fauve. I've made it in their white tencel, and the details in this are just exquisite. I prefer to wear my shirts slightly open, but this has the most beautiful collar. It's got a button placket, and then the feature on here on these beautiful raglan sleeves, this sort of scallop edge here. If I turn around, I hope you can see there the beautiful, beautiful detail of this scallop on the back, which is actually a feature that's echoed in all of the patterns, as you'll see here on, this is the Marcello jacket as well. It's just exquisite. It has such beautiful cuff detail here with this wonderful curve and a fully bound edge. It's intended to be a slightly oversized shirt. I have it on today with some leggings, and it's definitely one of my new favourites. Okay, so I've moved on to the volata blouse, and this beautiful scalloped neckline here, this just, it's just dreamy. So it's created by, these are the facings, which obviously go right side together, and then you flip them out eventually. But also you need to interface both the front and back pieces. So the front is cut into pieces, as is the back, and then you sort of put them right sides together and create the shell of the blouse. So the blouse is made in 4 pieces, but just the innovation, it's just lovely, just magical. I've got to show you this because I'm sort of taking you with me in snippets. Look at the curve on that. Isn't that just absolutely stunning? So that's the front neckline. So it's created by, so you've interfaced the actual fabric, and then obviously interface the facing if you like, but oh my word, how pretty is that? And oh, look at the colours on this fabric as well, by the way. And this then goes right sides together, but that is going to be the neckline. I've never seen anything like that. That is just dreamy. Look how pretty that is. So that is your neckline of the front, just lovely. So you put the right sides together here, and then on the other side obviously you overlock before you join them, and then open the seam. Just beautiful, just lovely. Oh, I've got to share this moment with you. So I've just put the fronts and the backs together, and I have just popped it over my head, but I thought I'd pop it on my mannequin. Look, this on, and even on this mannequin is exquisite.
I hope you're still with me.
I'm
and
not
I
a
thought at this stage I'd slice in some footage of the actual finished result.
I'm sorry about the dreadful footage, but I'm trying to just capture
and I'll be
just how
right at the end
amazing
of the
that is. On my body, this wow. Can't wait to show you actually
as well.
Look how exquisite that is.
So I recognise this is a super long
video. It's been really simple to make.
This is the process. This is
not really complicated at all. Just take your time. Make sure you get the pivot points on each of the corners here. But this is exquisite. Onto the sleeve now. So we've got the same principle as we did on the other blouse. So you sew round your slit and then slit through. And then you have got, I think, yeah, you've got the cuff that goes around here, and then a simple cuff on the bottom, which is obviously interfaced. So yeah, it's coming together really well. Good morning everybody, it's a Maison Fauve kind of day today, and I've got the brand new pattern on, which is the Valletta blouse in their beautiful Pietra viscose in the colourway prune, and I've paired that today with the Super trousers. This is the Super pattern, and this is actually also their silk dupion fabric in this absolutely stunning khaki green, definitely my autumn colours. And then how's this for a pairing? As it's feeling quite crisp this morning, I've got to pair it with my Pilar jacket. Oh, just love these colours. Have a great day everybody. Okay, so I'm at the cutting out phase of this beautiful Marcello jacket in this Maison Fauve tweed, and I have actually just watched the video from Maison Fauve on pattern matching, which is actually really good. It's in French, and I couldn't change the subtitles because it's an older video, but nonetheless you can get the perspective of it. So I would recommend you watching that. But basically you start with the back piece, and then from that you then draw lines on the pattern in order to match the check. To be honest, the pattern repeat on this particular tweed is quite small, so I think it'll be okay, but I obviously want to take my time to make sure I get that as correct as I can. Okay, so the cutting out's gone actually pretty well so far, but this might be the maddest thing I've ever tried to do, because I've not difficult, but just need to take your time, because I've just discovered it's difficult to mark on. This under here is the welt pocket, and I'm finding it really difficult to actually mark. You're not even going to be able to see, I don't think. I'm finding it really difficult to mark out the square. Now these pins represent the four corners of the welt square, and in order to do my very best at pattern matching the fabric, although I shouldn't worry too much because the patch pocket, so the welt pocket, is actually slightly aslant. But basically, if I put that back on there, I've basically done myself a template using literally a freezer bag. And that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to obviously cut the pieces of fabric in association with the welt pocket, using that template to give me my best shot at getting that completely aligned. Never done that before, just completely thinking on my feet, but I think that's the best principle I can come up with in terms of actually marking this on the welt pocket here. I don't think you can even see my chalk line because I can barely see it. It's like a chalk line just there. So I'm going to have to give that some thought, because I've got a friction pen, I've got the chalk pen. Neither of those are showing up, so I'm going to have to give that a bit of thought. Not that you guys can help me because you'll be after the thought, but yeah, food for thought on that. Not sure how well you're going to be able to see that. So obviously I've got mirrored front pieces, and this is the template. As you can see that, I'll lay it back over here. You can see this is the template for the stripes on the pocket. So I've just laid, this was the left hand side, I'm now doing the right hand side. So proof that you're not going to be able to see it, I don't think. Proof that my pattern match is correct, because the four corners of the pocket, I think you can just about see the stripes there, and they're exactly the same. So that's pretty reassuring that because I figured that the angle might be slightly different or something. Potentially could have been out by a small amount. But at least I can use the same template for both sides of the coat. Okay, so this might be utterly crazy, but this is my brain thinking out of the box to do pattern matching for this pocket opening. So you can see you've got a pocket bag entry here, and remember me creating this template. It's literally a freezer bag cut open. So this is obviously the pattern piece underneath. What I did then is layer over the freezer bag with the stripes you can see here, and these notches here represent obviously the opening of the
welt pockets itself. So I'm going to give that a go. I've never done that before, never even had to think about this before, but I have to say, yeah, the pattern matching element of cutting this coat out has taken hours, but worthwhile investment of hours. So you can see here, obviously got one side of the, this is one of the sleeve pieces, and you can, they almost look invisible, but that's the idea, is that I've layered them over the top of each other so that they pattern match each other. And then this stripe, this, although the pattern repeat itself is reasonably small, it's not, because you've actually got these boxes here, so actually that's the pattern repeat, if you like. Well, some of you watching will know more about that than me, but it's actually taken up lots more fabric than I could have imagined. I thought I had a lot of fabric left, but I don't. That's what I like about Maison Fauve. They actually tell you how much fabric you need, but I think I probably should have or probably needed to have factored in some additional fabric for the pattern repeat, because that on the floor very glamorously, yeah, and you can see that it's yeah, it's just tweed, it's a loose weave, so it's shredding. Sorry about the footage here, but yeah, I've got one more pattern piece to do, which is actually quite a big pattern piece, so I'm going to end up having to actually put that into two pieces, but don't fear, because the pattern piece I'm referring to here, no, not that one, is actually the inside facing. Let me just turn, oh goodness, sorry, it's that pattern piece there, so and it's the facing on the inside of the jacket, so I'm going to end up, I think, cutting that and then rejoining that. Sorry about some of the wobbly footage there. Okay, I'm on the home straight. So this is actually the welt pocket piece here, and I'm pleased to say that my perseverance has paid off. That's the pocket, that's the piece here, but actually the hole underneath is only from here to here. So I'm pretty sure that now on both sides, as you can see, that is going to be as pattern matched as I can make it. So yeah, only a couple more small pieces to go. Update on where I'm at before I forget to update you on anything. As a solution to my pattern marking on this, I actually sewed in the welt pocket placement. I hope that's focusing okay. Yeah, you can just see that there. So that's actually quite a nice solution. The advantage of this being a grid is that actually it's quite easy to demark then the 1 centimetre lines, for example, that I need, because they're nice all straight on the grain. But I have to say, I have spent hours on pattern matching and head scratching to get these pockets right. I have struggled a little bit with the instructions, I'm not going to lie. I don't think they're wrong, but I think the video does things slightly different to the instructions, so that took me a little while to get my head around that. But early stages are suggesting that pattern matching is going to work, but obviously I've got a left and a right, and I haven't, if I'm honest, I haven't found the instructions hugely easy, particularly working out let me see here. Yes, actually I've sewn both of these in. You've got two pieces of the pocket placement, and actually the key thing that did me in was this is the front edge, I think, and this is the side edge, and I couldn't work out from the instructions which way around these two pieces needed to be, and in the video what she says and what she does seemed a little bit different to me, so I had to go watch the video quite a few times. So I think I've made some errors based on how I interpreted it. It doesn't mean that the video or the instructions are wrong, just my brain was a little confuddled. But yeah, so next stage for this actually is to cut open the welt, which is in the middle here, and I'm actually going to fray check that whole area before I cut it, because this fabric is it's an absolutely exquisite tweed, but it is disintegrating on me just by looking at it. So as you can see here, I've actually gone back in and overlocked all of the edges of all of the pattern pieces, which, to be fair, actually says that on the website as well. So I should have just done that in the first place, really. But it wasn't until I started moving it I realised how quickly it was going to, the loose weaveness of it. That's no fault of the fabric. It is the fabric that does that. So let's get some more sewing done and I'll update you in a bit. Okay. Keep breathing. I've just turned this through, or it's turned it to the back, and this is the right side, and therefore is my opening of my pocket. I obviously haven't removed my, you can see here my my markings as done in the cotton, but I got to say that's not bad, is it? Oh, yeah. Oh my word, goodness. So I've got to iron that, and then you anchor the welt pocket in. I have to say it's actually pretty easy to do, but because of the pattern matching, I literally yeah, there was a lot of work, but I'm really pleased and it's paid off. So I'm going to tidy this one off, finish this one, and then do the next one. So but yeah, look at that, that's actually pretty good. Oh my word, very pleased with that. Here we are on the other side, exactly the same thing. So I've just birthed the welt pocket. And again, I haven't taken my marking stitches out yet, but oh, phew, yeah, pretty good. A little bit off on the vertical, but across the grain there, pretty good. Actually, that may well be still okay once I've had a chance to iron it and things. But I'm absolutely blown away that I've persevered to get that done. So I'm really, really pleased. That is by far and away the hardest part of this coat. Oh, right, that is welt pockets complete. Yes, very happy with that. That's the, where are we? That's the front edge there. So, oh man, love, yeah, pleased, very pleased, got that done in the end. But yeah, perseverance and patience and walking away, or just thinking out, you know, just leaving it for a second and coming back to it, all that sort of stuff has really paid off today. Gosh, very pleased with that. Okay, that is an amazing piece of work for, well, certainly the majority of my Sunday, and for at least 2 or 3 hours yesterday as well. The detail on this is just, well, it's beautiful. You got this, yeah, just absolutely amazing. Just excuse the squeaking of my, just, this is the dart detail, and this is actually a 3-piece sleeve, but I have managed to absolutely nail the pattern matching. And this is the signature swallow sort of neckline here. Pattern matching out on the collar, which is a bit frustrating actually. Nothing I can do about that now, but look at that. And that's 2 pieces, so that's the centre seam down through there. So I've got to be happy with that. Yeah, I mean, who's going to be looking at my neck that closely? Good luck to them if they are. And then you've got on the front here as well, and this again is this lovely detail just on there, the pockets in their glory. Yeah, really pleased with that. So I'm going to pause there for now, and and this is, you basically create the outer coat and then you move on to the lining, and both the lining and outer coat stop at this point with the side seams and the sleeves. So the side seams and the sleeves are both unsewn, and then the magic happens of putting the two together. Oh, just brilliant. Okay, apologies, I haven't filmed a great deal of putting the lining together, but this is the process. So this is actually the so the inner facing, if you like, and here again, check out this pattern matching. It's a little bit off here, but hey, I'll run with the punches. This is obviously the facing for the coat, and this is the lining. So it's hard for me to do this one-handed. So you can see here now, you've got the so I think I showed you some footage. The coat is now the outer coat is in the same process as the inner coat, and we're on the home straight now because I literally get to put the lining and the coat together. So very exciting. But it's the detail on these patterns. Sorry about my squeaky mannequin turning around here. But you've got these beautiful pleat details that are very simply created, both at the top and right at the bottom of the lining, in order to give ease in the coat. But it is just beautiful. Cannot wait to show you the end product. And here we are, the finished article. Oh my word, I am so pleased with the pattern matching, the understanding a new pattern, using a tweed. Just the construction of this coat is just it's just exquisite. Actually, I know I say that all the time. Excuse me with the one-handed action here, but look, it's just amazing. It is amazing. Just look at this. So I think probably some of the style lines are lost a little bit in the tweed, but oh my goodness, it's beautiful. I cannot wait to wear it. It's definitely a statement piece, and I think I'm going to end up wearing it with similar outfits to this one, so that something plain underneath to help the pattern be accentuated. But I just love it. Just absolutely love it. And hopefully the next section of this video will be a bit of a compilation of the outfits I've made, so stay tuned.
And here we are in all its glory, the Marcello coat. What a wonderful project. I have learnt so much in this project. I've enjoyed the pattern matching. Look at it across the front, it's brilliant. I am really chuffed with how this has come out. I love wearing this coat open. I'm wearing it with jeans here. These are the Defilent jeans, and I can't remember what t-shirt I've got on there, but it's just lovely. I really let the fabric do all the talking and wear sort of navy trousers and jeans with this predominantly. But stay tuned, I've got more pictures to come. I decided not to come back on screen because the video has been super long, and thank you so much if you stayed with me to the end. I'd love it if you'd like, subscribe, if you'd hype this video for me, which is a new feature from YouTube that I've recently spoken about. But massive thank you to you to staying all the way through to the end here. These items, to make these has been just an absolute joy, and I hope you've enjoyed watching the experience with me too. So please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.